What is going on, everybody? We are back for another episode of the Double Switch podcast, a very special 1-5 road trip edition. Phillies have dropped 6 of their last 7. Johnny, this wasn't supposed to happen. Wasn't supposed to go this way. We were supposed to have a good month. This was supposed to be a very good month for the Phillies, trending towards a playoff berth for the first time in a long time. But here we are. How are you doing, Johnny?
I'm all right, man. Unlike you, I'm not going to act like my dog just got kicked because it was just 6 games, and maybe the Phils wanted to beat good teams and let the bad teams beat them.
Bold strategy, waiting for the good teams to really show your talent. I'm not in favor of that strategy, so I hope you're definitely wrong. What was your favorite moment from the week, Johnny? Your favorite moment of Phil's
all right,
baseball?
I got a moment. I thought it was pretty cool when JT hit that nuke to tie the game up.
That was cool. I'll give you that. That was pretty sick.
I got one for you. What was your least favorite moment of the week? Pick one.
Oh man! All right. So blowing the 7-run lead was bad. That was pretty annoying. It was a rough start, but that was early in the week. So
we already talked about that.
I wasn't really too frustrated about it. Kind of just chalked it up to shit happens type of thing. I think it would probably be when I thought that we might win the last game in the Giants series. JT game tying home run. Thought we had it, and then we blow it a couple innings later, and we just end the crappy road trip on a crappy note. And that's that. It's I kind of felt like it was going to happen the whole time. It just felt too good to be true, considering how things were going. So yeah, probably when we blew the lead after the JT home run was my least favorite part. What about you?
That was probably the worst. Even though I wasn't even watching it because I watched the Real Muto home run. I was able to tune in on YouTube TV and I was like, "Oh yes!" I got to see that live. And then, I went and walked down to the beach, I think, and look at my phone and I'm like, "What do you mean?" I saw a ball in play runs, and then it was Wilmer Flores with the bomb, and I was heartbroken as well. So probably the same thing.
This postseason race that we have going on in the wild card might be the ugliest race I've seen in just a long time. Brewers have no intention of playing in October. They do not. They must have vacations booked or something. They have no interest in getting to postseason baseball. And that's kind of the only thing keeping us afloat right now because we've been awful. Padres have been, slightly better. They were able to catch us. It doesn't really mean anything. We're still in a playoff spot. And the Brewers, who had every opportunity in the world to catch us this week, went down to the D-backs, and the D-backs took care of business against them too. I don't know if we're lucky. I don't even know what to think after this week. Do you chalk this up to just the baseball gods throwing us a bone and keeping us in it, or what?
I mean, when you look at we went 1-5, correct?
Well, 1-6 if you count the game last Sunday.
All right, sure. We'll count 1-6. We've seen some of the best teams in baseball go through stretches like this recently. Obviously, we don't have the same record to have that cushion, but we've seen the Yankees have a bad stretch. We've seen the Padres. They just had a horrible stretch. Now they're back to playing above 500 baseball. But I don't know. You can't expect the pace that we were playing at all season long. We were playing incredible baseball, going from streak to streak. It's not all beautiful. Baseball can be bad sometimes.
It's certainly not all beautiful, and specifically when you really want to get down to where the frustration is for Phillies fans, it's the fact that we're in September now. If this happened in the middle of July, it happens. That's baseball. I completely accept that excuse you just gave me. It's a fair argument because teams do go through up and downs, but This team has had serious September struggles for a long time, the past couple years, and they did absolutely nothing this week to make anybody feel good about their chances this September. They look like they knew it, you know? They look like they knew they had September struggles and they were trying to not have September struggles. And I mean, when you do anything in life, it's just like the more you think about it, the more you're just going to will it into existence. You know, it looks like they're going out there and they're trying not to lose. Specifically on the pitching side, pitching side's an absolute disaster this week. We'll get into that later, but it looks like they know the September problems are real and they're playing into it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think the saying you're looking for is "you are what you think about," and it does seem like the rotation and the offense doesn't see themselves the way they did before. But I think that is just a little bit of them overcompensating. I think it's something that they can look at and see and then stop pushing themselves so hard and just go out and have fun like they were doing before. But I'm more tired of the fans because it's almost like the fans want this to happen. I've never seen so many people ready to get off the Phillies bandwagon.
I hear you, I do, but can you blame them? I mean, I get that this
Yeah.
team's earned some type of um, what's the word? Some leeway from us, but you look back to 2019 and they were 11 games over 500 going into September and they went 8-20. This I mean, if you don't follow baseball like us and you kind of just look at you take a step back and look at the big picture, teams had huge struggles in the past in September. People remember that stuff. That sticks in their minds all off season. It becomes ingrained. And you turn the calendar to September this year and it's not like some it's not really like I don't think anybody wants it. I think that might be a stretch to say that people are hoping for it, but people are definitely expecting it. And you do see it a lot in comments and opinions. And I do wish that, those voices would kind of dilute themselves and we wouldn't hear it because it's not doing anybody a drop of good. It's part of the problem why, these players are pressing because they hear the noise. No matter how much they say they don't, they do hear it. It's not a good thing for the team, but it's also not a good thing for the fans to see the team do it. So it's kind of like what came first, like the chicken or the egg here. Did the September woes cause fans to think this way, or fans thinking this way causing September woes? I don't know, but I do get both sides of this right now.
Yeah. No, I think that was well said. But it's just disheartening the way I'm seeing it right now. Because like you were saying, like I mean, we live in an era where media is everywhere and players are online and players do hear what you're saying. And some of the stuff coming out of people's mouths right now is honestly like just disgusting, like considering like how much fun we've had like this whole year and like 6 games go by and like you're willing to say these things about these players. Like I'll stop
Uh,
there, but
yeah,
it's
no,
annoying.
I get it. No, I get it, and I take a different view on it because you're a social media guy. You're a lot closer to the pulse of Phillies fans than I am. So I can only imagine some of the stuff you see. I do get it. Um, Following up on that, it's going to do absolutely no good whatsoever.
What?
Suggesting that Bryce Harper is the reason that the team is having issues. That is the one thing um, that I just can't even wrap my head around. The the people saying that they seem to forget that before Bryce Harper went on the IL, the team was heating up. They were playing super good, and you look at the way this team's losing. We're getting blown out. It's a team problem. It's always a team problem in some form, but you have this pitching rotation that's getting absolutely bodied every night by just every lineup they can come across. Aaron Noel, anybody not named Bailey Falter right now is just having their ERA rise by the day. No one's pitching good, so that's automatically not a Bryce Harper problem. Um, and they played good baseball with Bryce Harper. I just don't understand. I do get that he is a presence, but he's a presence that this clubhouse has dealt with before. Like they're used to playing with Bryce Harper. It's not like we just traded for the guy and suddenly all of our problems arise. You know, it's so unfair to him after what he's done for the city, um, what he's done for the team. It's just that is the one thing that I have seen that I absolutely can't stand. Yeah, I that's my big point there.
No, that great point. Whoever's talking like this, stop. But if I'm gonna play devil's advocate, which I will, what I have been seeing with since Harper's come back, if I had to put my finger on it, I would say that they had a different feeling in the clubhouse when Harper wasn't playing, when they were winning a lot, and it was very fun, and the expectations were different. And Harper talked about it that first game he came back, post game, how he just doesn't want to like mess with any mojo going in the locker room right now. I think the players, once Harper came back, they expected even more of themselves. Everyone expects this team to perform even better instead of like we should have just kind of stuck to what we were doing correctly and work with that. But nothing, obviously, nothing to do with the Harper's the best player on this team. So everyone, shut up. It's our guy.
Yeah, it's so unfair to him, and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, now like,
It
come
makes
on
no
now.
sense. It just makes no sense to even suggest
That's
that.
someone looking for attention right there.
Yeah, Bryce is not a problem right now. He hasn't really had his swing. He's obviously one of the best hitters in the world, and he's been good enough. But he hasn't been Bryce Harper that we've come to know. So we'll see how he bounces back from that. I think we need to kind of dive into the pitching staff because it's a really big problem. Um, are you scale of 1 to 10? How panicked are you about Zach Wheeler?
Less than initial. Initially, when they were saying it was going to be like a short kind of like rest, I thought it was something else. But all the reports have still been positive. It seems like he threw today, no discomfort, and he's going to do a bullpen, and he could make his next start. I'm very, very intrigued to see how he comes back and how hard he's throwing the baseball.
This comment might age well. It might not. We'll see. I think we might be getting lied to. I think it.
Elaborate.
I don't think his arm's as good as the reports are saying. It was inflamed on Friday. I was texting you about it. I don't know if you understood what I was saying because I wasn't like actually elaborating. But yeah, his arm was inflamed on Friday. That should be clearing up if he's not throwing. It suggests that maybe there's something else there that they're really not connecting the dots on. If he's, you just take time off of baseball, time off from pitching, the arm should heal itself relatively quickly if it's a healthy arm. There's no reason it should still be inflamed after taking a 2 week absence. It's a little weird, and I think the problem. I really hope not, but I think the problem might be a little bigger than they're saying. It's a common tactic to kind of not show your hand if you're front office, um, not to overplay your hand. And front offices, they usually don't give you the full story. They kind of just give you a partial story. I think that might be what we're getting right now. I hope not, and I hope he does make his next start. But we'll see how that ages come next episode.
Yeah, no, everything you just said definitely put a damper on my mood. Jeez. God
Yeah,
damn.
this is one of our really bummed out episodes. We tend to get bummed out sometimes, but
Dude,
it's not it's not
I don't know why you're so bummed out.
it's not sunny in Philadelphia right now. I mean, you look outside and it's been raining all day, so it's literally not sunny in Philadelphia. And it's also it's a dreary time to kind of think about all of this. We'll move past Wheeler because we both said our opinions. We throw out all this support for Aaron Nola, and how his Septembers are He's going to redeem himself this September. Nothing to worry about. That's what the Double Switch podcast was saying. And he goes out and he throws an absolute clunker against the D-backs and pretty much slaps our faces. Like, well, come on, Nola. Like, you can't do that to us.
Pause. Everyone threw up a clunker last week.
That's true.
Ranger threw up a clunker, a major clunker too, at that.
I know, but we didn't have a full-on segment last episode about how he's going to have a great September.
I wrote a full article almost about it.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think about the Nola start, and are you worried?
Still no. I don't think we've seen.
We lost you.
I'm still here. I hear you. My camera got disconnected for a second.
All right. Well, at least continue.
Wait. 1 sec.
Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah, we can see. Continue, please.
I don't think we've seen a ton of clunkers from Nola this season, and
time out. I believe going into this start, he had 9 starts of 4 or more earned runs, so that would put him at 10.
Is that league average? Is that below average?
It's probably league average, but we need an ace right now. And if you're gonna throw the ace thing out for Nola, if you're gonna throw that suggestion that he might be an ace, I think that's probably something that real aces don't do. They don't throw up that many starts with that many earned runs.
Are we still arguing this?
I'm
just an ace or not?
No, I'm just saying that he has thrown up more clunkers than you probably thought. It's just he throws up the 9-inning gems that cancel it out.
Yeah. I'm not worried. I know everyone else is throwing him in the gutter and throwing him in the trash, but I'm not worried. He's pitching tonight. Tonight is basically a playoff game. I mean, Aaron Nola is starting. We're 1-5 in our last 6 games. If he doesn't throw a gem tonight, we should consider ourselves like screwed. Because, and I say that, let me elaborate.
You don't sound worried at all.
Let me elaborate, because I just can't get over the importance of tonight's game against the Marlins. Coming off such a bad stretch and maybe not having Wheeler for another time around the rotation. Like, this Nola needs to get a win. And the bats need to come alive.
You know the funny thing about the Nola part, or the Wheeler part?
What?
That even if he comes back, all he's going to do is take the place of our most reliable starter right now. Isn't that kind of ironic?
What do you mean?
Because when he comes back, I'd imagine Falter loses his rotation spot, right?
I mean,
isn't Falter the one you probably trust? I mean, he's been pitching the best.
Part of me kind of thought that they would try, because Falter's had his innings pretty limited this year in the majors, and I don't think he's thrown a ton in the AAA this year, but I guess he kind of has. But I thought they might try to like switch out something with him and one of the guys in the back of the rotation at the end of the year, just because he has a fresher arm, and we're clearly dealing with like a dead arm thing going on in the rotation right now.
Yeah, that's a perfect transition to our next pitcher, Ranger Suarez, starting to kind of think there's something up there. He seems to kind of have lost his control. I know you just wrote a huge article on him. Definitely go check that out if you're listening. Very interesting stuff. It's something that I think an IL stint might help him with. So if you do see Wheeler come back, I wouldn't be surprised if that swap ended up happening, Wheeler for Ranger, because he's definitely lost some effectiveness. That's not even a debate. And he's definitely lost some stamina, as he pitches deep into these games. I think an IL stint would probably be good for Ranger right about now.
Yeah. Honestly, just the way we're talking right now makes me kind of hate the modern day baseball.
With the innings cap?
Well, players just aren't developed and they're not conditioned to be able to throw 200 innings a season, 7 innings an outing, 8 innings an outing. And it's getting really annoying. because it used to be really cool to have like two guys at the top of the rotation that could go 9 innings on a good outing. And now you see good outings, and it's 5 or 6 innings, 8 to 10 Ks. Like that's like a good outing for some pitchers. Like
Yeah, it's definitely something
that was me being a little more frustrated with baseball than the Phillies, but
yeah, it's definitely something that's changing the game. But those good teams that have adjusted to that have those bullpens that can kind of pick up the slack, and
yeah,
it's a part of. We'll get into that shortly once we get through the staff. It's just part of the game, and you have to adjust to it because you can't go out and find those pitchers anymore because pitchers aren't designed like that. They're designed to throw 100 over 5 innings. You just get you through 6 innings and let the high velocity bullpen arms get you through the rest of the game. That's modern baseball, but let's not get into that too much.
Circling back to your question though, I do think like a little IL stint for Ranger would be a good idea.
Now his game was the game that we blew the 7-run lead, right? Just so I get my order right.
Yes, it was the first game against the Diamondbacks.
Okay, yeah, I think we talked about that, so we don't have to talk about Rangers start. Now, isn't Ranger tonight, or was Ranger Sunday? Was Ranger Sunday?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but I know Nola's tonight.
This was a rough week for me in terms of watching the Phils. I don't know about you. I didn't watch much of it, and I ended up being very happy that I didn't watch much of it, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah, just such weird times too. It's really tough to get around to.
Yeah, that's also something that people aren't going to really think about. It's got to be pretty tough going out west, and it's not like this is going to sound ridiculous, but staying up late like that, like these games were finishing at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and if you took me and told me to go play baseball till 2 a.m., I'm going to be an absolute mess out there. I can't. I'm used to East Coast time, and I just can't stay up like that. They're obviously baseball players, so it's not going to affect them like it would affect me and you. But it's something
makes you wonder.
Yeah, it's something that there's probably more to, and that would be an interesting thing to look at for one of our articles, how teams do when they travel across the coast like that. But we're done with the West Coast, I believe. We have to go to Houston, so that's not too bad. That's just an hour. But yeah, so that was Ranger, and then we came back and we threw out Big Game Gibby, who he the real stopper Gibby has become. Great great guy to just get the momentum back on our side, and he proceeds to throw up absolute clunker. He is about as guaranteed to have as many bad starts as he does good starts, and it stinks. It's not fun because every time you watch a good Gibby start, a bad one's right behind it. Like it's rough watching Gibby nowadays. It's frustrating.
I'm officially off the Gibson wagon completely.
It's rough.
Well, it's just the highs are fine, but the lows for an MLB pitcher cannot go into an outing and be just like that ineffective. Like he is like pitching to contact with just no aggression sometimes, and it is just tough to watch.
It's not fun. It's an experience that I'm just happy it's going to be over with in a couple weeks. So we won't even.
Feels like it would be a nice pivot to have Falter in his spot at the end of the year.
Yeah, but it's tough because innings is something that Gibby gives you, and it's something that's going to be so valuable. You don't have to worry about him at all, especially with a bunch of people you do have to worry about. So, as much as I would like to see someone other than Gibby pitching, I think we're kind of stuck with him for now. And then, lucky us, we went through those 3 clunkers, and we have big old Thor on the mound to really stop the damage, and he proceeds to lose as well. He still has no swing and miss. He still is not fooling anybody. He is still the pitcher that he was last week. He's not getting any better. And there's not much to say about him either, except he's kind of just like Gibby 2.0, except he pitches to more contact, which is incredible. Anything?
No.
Yeah. No, we'll leave it at that. And that was out west. Fun stuff. The most annoying part about all of this was the fact that coming into that series, the Giants lost 6 in a row. So you were looking at a team that was actually having more issues than us. At that point, we had lost 4 in a row, and we just proceeded to get blown out by them. Um, I don't know. I really have no idea what's going on. So I don't even know what to say about that. But real quick on the
Well,
pitching staff, Zach Eflin coming back. After seeing this entire disaster of a week, do you still think that throwing him in the bullpen's a good idea, or should we try to squeak out as many opening innings as we can out of him?
he should be a starter.
He should be a starter. Agreed.
Why would we experiment right now?
He's just he, he's not going to be a good reliever. Let's be real. We're both thinking it.
Give Gibby or Ranger some time to rest, and then slide him right in there.
Yeah, pair him with Nick Nelson or another name that's come into the picture, Griff McGarry.
There's a silver lining in this episode. Griff McGarry got promoted yesterday to AAA Lehigh Valley.
Triple A Lehigh Valley. I think they have full on plans for him to be on this team in a couple weeks.
I mean, he wouldn't be in AAA right now if they were going to wait till next year.
If you had to put money on it right now, what do you think his role is when he comes up here? Long reliever or a kind of wipeout reliever for a couple outs, or what do you think we do with him?
Well, I was actually thinking about this like a lot today, and my gut said long reliever, like take like Nick Nelson's role, and then make Nelson an opener. But then I thought, why not make McGarry an opener?
Yeah,
And then keep Nick Nelson where he is.
it's interesting, especially if you look at putting Ranger on the IL while Wheeler's still on the IL, and kind of not pushing anybody back and not feeling the need to fill out the rotation with people who have done it. It'd be a very ambitious idea. I think that's a good word for it. Throwing someone in there in a pennant race. But you're looking at a guy, and a lot of people listening to this haven't seen him. He will have probably more top 5 stuff on this team the moment he steps into the clubhouse. He's that nasty. And you could have probably called him up in April, and he probably could have got people out. He's that good. It's the control that's going to be interesting to see how that works. And, stuff doesn't always translate to the majors like you think it does. It's never that easy. That's why it's tough to really bank on prospects. But if you're looking for someone who can get major leaguers out, he's probably as good of a bet as anybody right now in our system. And, I'm open to anything, really. The pitching staff is a disaster, and the bullpen wasn't much better. So I'm open to whatever.
I think it's time to get crafty. Rob Thompson, the Phillies, they need to look deeper into this, because when you look at the remaining schedule, we play a lot of the Marlins, a little bit of the Nationals, and then a good amount of the Braves. All teams that are very familiar with our starting rotation. So if you throw in guys like Griff McGarry and Zach Eflin, who hasn't seen some of these teams in a couple months, it could be like a shock to some of these teams, something different. Because I mean, baseball is a game of memory. Like if you saw that guy last week, you're more likely to understand his stuff than a guy like Griff McGarry, who, if you've never seen, it could be like a little bit of a lightning jolt to this rotation.
Yeah, definitely the Marlins, who are just one of the worst lineups ever. Throw them out there and see what happens.
But the Marlins have a bad lineup, but they know the Phillies.
Exactly. It's a new arm, and you're already taking a lineup that can't really hit, and they probably won't be able to figure them out for at least a couple starts. So I definitely agree with you on that approach. That should do it for the pitching. This episode's going to run way long. So anything else about the pitching before we? No. Anything about the hitting?
Yes.
What do you got?
Where is the power?
I have no idea.
Why can't we hit home runs? We're in the past 3 weeks we rank 28th in the league in home runs with 18. 5 of them were in one game.
This is going to be a super boring segment because I have no idea where the power
No
went.
answers.
It's so strange having two big power hitters at the top of our lineup, both of which are pretty cold right now, relatively speaking. So,
I
yeah,
guess we could just leave that one to feast or famine type thing. That's kind of this
yeah.
lineup's been with home runs.
No, it's a weird problem to have. I think it's probably time to mix up the lineup too. It's I want to see better contact hitters at the top of the lineup. I know it's been working all season long. Throw Jean or Stott, mix them up there with some of the big power hitters. Get a little more contact involved. I'm seeing a lot of strikeouts. I wouldn't be against throwing Bryce back in the 3 spot. It's his natural spot, and I think we're kind of stretching it, making him bat cleanup. Um, I get Bohm's been hitting really well, but like Bryce is our best hitter, bat him 3. Figure out a spot for everybody else after that. This episode is we're about half an hour into it. We haven't even got to Nick Castellanos.
Yeah, I guess we haven't.
Wow, that should speak volumes about how bad this week was. That we haven't even got to that bad news.
Well,
Strained oblique, 10-day IL. I've seen all kinds of stuff.
But
go ahead.
They said it's a mild strain.
Yes, you're right. I feel like mild's kind of subjective.
Yeah. I guess that's
Like
depends.
what is mild exactly? Like I feel like that's just an opinion, and it's
I think that's a word that the Phillies trainers are getting very used to saying. Oh, it's just mild. It's very mild.
Yeah, and it offers no clarity on anything. It makes everybody
nothing.
wonder, like, is it a week? Is it rest of the season? Like what's going on? But I've seen all kinds of stuff. I don't even know who to trust anymore in terms of reports. But I think 10 days is probably what it's looking like. I dropped him in fantasy because the report suggested that he might miss the rest of the season, but I probably shouldn't be trusting ESPN fantasy for my news. That's probably not the best source.
It's your first mistake.
Yeah, no, that's I guess I'll claim him again. But yeah, no, that's Nick. Dalton Guthrie called up getting the start tonight. Gonna be honest, don't know much about him.
Yeah, I heard he's having a terrific year in AAA, hitting 302, 10 home runs. He plays infield and outfield.
It's useful.
And I think he mashes lefties, so
that should pair well with
no one.
No one. Yeah, that's not.
Veerling also mashes lefties.
Yeah.
But
all right.
You can't. A platoon isn't always there when you want it, but
yeah, no, it sounded so good when you said it, and then I thought about it. Didn't make any sense. But yeah, he's 26, and he wasn't already on the 40-man roster, so I think it's important to temper expectations. But spark plug, you never know with a lot of these players. So we'll see what he can give us tonight. And hopefully he can be a stopgap for this short IL stint for Nick.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
I think it's about that time.
You think it's that time?
I think it's about that
Folks,
time.
It's time for the trivia with the double switch. Let me get my intro music going. Questions like last week.
We got to work on your presentation there.
Yeah. It's all new.
All
right.
Trivia time. It's my turn for questions. I got 2 out of 3 last week, so you need to get 2 out of 3 to tie, and I don't think you will.
We shall see.
First question. In 2022, this season, which position player leads the Phillies in WAR? That is wins above replacement for people who don't know that.
Okay. I have my guess.
And what is your guess?
JT Realmuto.
One for one.
Hey,
JT
when you're an
is
elite
correct.
defender like that, it adds up.
Yeah, nicely done. It's JT. It's not particularly close. Pitching on the pitching side, we have obviously Nola, who's way up there, but I only said position players. Once you get past him, I'm looking down the list and I don't even see another Philly, so that's just a great sign. That's just awesome. All right, this should be a gimme. Um, I really hope you get this. Who did the Phillies defeat to win their first World Series?
Oh, jeez. I'm drawing a blank right now from the 1980 World
Oh,
Series.
no.
Oh, yikes. This is kind of embarrassing, too.
You don't know, do you?
Oh, I'm thinking of the 1993 World Series opponent right
Yeah,
right
the
off the
Blue Jays.
get-go.
Yeah, no, you are incorrect in the Blue Jays if you guessed that. That was 93. Uh-oh. This is
Oh,
good.
I drew a blank. Who is it?
Kansas City Royals. George Brett and the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, damn it. I knew that. Shit.
1-1. You need to get this one to tie, and it's a tough one too.
Ah, yeah, you're talking a lot of trash about this question, so
No, I changed it because you never would have got that. I'll ask that one after just for funs. 2011. Which Phillies pitcher led the team in strikeouts? This is a good one because it could be a couple players, couple pitchers.
I'm trying to think of like who threw the most innings.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, most of them threw quite a bit of innings.
I'm gonna go Cole Hamels.
You would be incorrect.
Who was it?
Cliff Lee with 238.
Oh, that was between the two lefties.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a really tricky one because it could have gone any way.
I should have trusted him.
Cliff Lee ended up having 238. Roy Halladay had 220. I thought you were going to go Halladay, and Cole Hamels had 194. It was a low strikeout total for Cole that year. That's a little strange.
It's a lot of strikeouts for a rotation, though.
Yeah, no, that's a ton out of 3 pitchers. The other question I was going to ask you that I didn't end up going with was 2010 first round pick was a pitcher. Who was it?
Is it Biddle?
Yeah, it was Biddle. All right, I chose correctly. I picked the ones you wouldn't get, so that worked out good.
Yeah, we should get Jesse Biddle. We should get Jesse Biddle on the podcast.
What's Jesse Biddle up to nowadays?
Let me figure it out real quick.
Yeah, I haven't.
Let's see if Jesse
was on the Braves for a second there.
Yeah, we could get him on, and he could tell us because you remember hearing the story about how he got caught in a hailstorm.
No.
And he got like psychological damage from that.
In a hailstorm?
Yeah.
Really?
After he got drafted.
No, I didn't hear that story.
He's in the Nippon Professional Baseball League.
Oh, he went to Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that happens.
All right. Well, I'll reach out to Jesse, and we'll see what we can do about getting him on.
Yeah. So if you guys hop on here one day and see Jesse Biddle, do not be surprised. I hear he's a big fan of the pod.
Yeah. No, he DMs me sometimes, and he says that he really likes my stuff, but he thinks that you're kind of annoying.
Anyway, anything else you want to hit before we get out of here? I mean, next episode, there's no way, the situation could be more dire next episode, right?
I really, I'm an optimistic guy, and I probably let you down after the last podcast, but with my optimism, but we'll be fine. It was 6 games. Don't let people convince you it was a month. It wasn't. It was a very, very small percentage of the season. And yes, one game matters at the end of the year. but we'll just have to make up for it. That's all I got.
No, I'm with you there. We'll see how things go this week, and hopefully they go better. But with that being said, if you're listening to us on Spotify, go check us out on YouTube. You guys watch us live. Watch Johnny have all his issues with his camera all episode. Interesting stuff. If you're on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. Listen to us on the go. We have the website now. Read some of the stuff we're putting out. Johnny and I both been doing some writing. We hit some stuff that we don't talk about on here. Kind of come at you guys with a different format, which some people like. So check that out. That is in the bio, I think, right?
Yes, it's in the bio, and you can also find us at www.doubleswitchpodcast.com.
Cool. Yeah, check that out. Let us know what you guys think. And as always, be safe. Go Phils.
Go Fightins.